Hey guys, it's Devin. Today we're going to be doing something a little different. I'm putting a new barrel on a Tika T3X TAC rifle in 6.5 Creedmoor that I have. So I'm getting a little bit longer barrel, going from a 24-inch barrel to a 26-inch barrel. This is the barrel that I'm going to be putting on. It's got a carbon fiber wrap, so it looks kind of cool. But the other thing it has is the free bore is shorter. What that allows me to do is when I'm reloading my 6.5 cartridges, I don't have to have the overall cartridge length as long to have the jump that I want to the lands. So that's going to be one of the great things for me. I'll be able to easily put the rounds in the magazine for this gun and not have to shoot them one at a time. So if you've heard anything about Tika factory barrel removal, it doesn't sound like much fun. So we're going to see how we can do today. I'll flip the camera around here in a minute and show you the setup that I have. And I'm going to try something that I read on the internet, but it's the internet. So what we're going to do is try it and see if it works. Normally you torque a barrel on at about, it depends on the spec of the barrel, but about 75, 85 foot-pounds, somewhere around in there. Tika at the factory evidently torques these things to about 300 foot-pounds. They evidently don't want them coming loose, so they certainly don't. But it does make it a little more difficult if you want to put a different barrel on your rifle. So anyway, I'm going to turn this thing around, show you how I've got it set up, and then we'll see if the method that I found on the internet actually works. So let's take a look. Here's the setup that I have. You can see the barrel is in a short action customs barrel vise. I will note that if you get one of these, it comes with a number of bushings. However, none of them fit the Tika barrel. You're going to want to get one that's, I think it's 1.11 inches. It'll be the one around there. If you've got a Tika hunting rifle that has a sloped barrel, then they actually have one specific for that rifle as well. But it will help it hold in the vise much better. Then I have a Wheeler action wrench on here. When I put the new barrel on, I'll actually use short action customs action wrench that goes inside the action. It's much easier to set your torque with that than with this Wheeler action wrench. But to get this factory barrel off, I suspect I'm going to need some leverage, and Short Action Customs has a maximum torque limit that they guarantee on their wrenches, so I don't want to exceed that. What I have read, and we'll see if it works, is to use a mallet here on our action wrench. Let's see if I can get that in focus, on our arm here on the action wrench, as opposed to a cheater pipe. Evidently, the jarring action does a better job of helping to release this barrel from the action. So we're going to give that a go and see if that actually works, and if not, just go get the dreaded cheater pipe and get it off. I have everything very tight over here. The action wrench is very tight, and the barrel vise, I think, is very tight. We will see. One thing I will point out on the action wrench is it's a number 1. They are numbered differently. And you can see there's, well, if I move the camera down, you can see there's a notch here. For the Tika action, we just want the 2 flat sides. When you do that, the bolts that come with this wrench barely get any threads in here when you have the wrench on the action. So what happened to me is I stripped some of the threads off of the bolts that came with it. They're just grade 2 bolts, and so I had to retap the holes here in the wrench and go buy some 3.5 inch grade 5 1/2 by 20 bolts. What comes with it is 3 inch 1/2 by 20, and they're grade 2. And so you just don't have enough of the threads in here to get enough purchase, and so then, since those are grade 2 bolts, it just rips the threads right off, which causes you a little grief. So hopefully that'll save you a little effort if you happen to use one of this style action wrench to get the barrel off. So I'm going to go ahead and set up the camera, and then we'll hit this thing with a hammer and see what we see. All right, let's see if this works. I've got the mallet here. We're also going to be able to tell, you can see how the action here is cocked that way just a little bit, so I'll be able to see if it's slipping in the vise, but here goes nothing. And it is slipping in the vise, so as tight as I thought I had it, we're going to need it a little tighter. So a little more leverage here. All righty, now let's give that a go. All right, we're still spinning. Everybody I have seen said you just can't get this tight enough. So. All right, we'll try it again. All right, still slipping. Oh, boy, howdy. There we go. Look at that. The barrel is not slipping anymore, but the action is moving. I'm going to have to move the camera around over here. I need a little more leverage. So I've got to get down over here, see if I can get this thing going. And look at that. So you don't need to watch me unscrew the rest of this thing, but evidently the mallet trick worked pretty well. I didn't have to go buy a piece of pipe, and we've got this thing loose. So I'll come back here in a minute and show you putting the new barrel on, and the procedure I use for that, and we'll keep moving. So see you in just a minute. Well, we're back, and as you can see, the Tika barrel has been removed, and no one was harmed in the removal, which is good. A couple of things to just follow up on before we finish up. The actual bushing that you need for the Short Action Customs barrel vise is 1.13 inches. Again, if you've got the hunting model that has more of a tapered barrel, they have a specific bushing for that one. But once you use this one, works like a champ. Again, put some of your paper or painter's tape in there so that you don't mess up your barrel. Works great. A couple of things I figured out after I turned off the camera. One of the reasons that I was having a little trouble getting the action loose is I had my action wrench a little too tight. Once I backed off on these bolts just a little, it just started screwing off very easily. So then I just pulled the wrench completely off, and it came unthreaded. So next time I might not torque this one down quite as much. I certainly don't want it slipping. And if you saw, I had a little piece of rag, I guess, you know, these t-shirt rags, wrapped around the receiver between the receiver and the action wrench. Again, you don't want to mar up your gun, so a little prevention goes a long way. So at the end of the day, the mallet is your friend. Again, I encourage you, or didn't mention, that you want to use a dead blow mallet or some sort of rubber mallet, not a regular metal hammer. Metal hammers really don't transfer the energy that a mallet does when you're striking, the type energy we want to rotate this thing. So it worked great. again, I think a couple of the times I tightened down on the barrel vise, I probably didn't need to. I believe the action was spinning, not the barrel. I could have put a little, should have put a little dot or something on the barrel so I would know which was happening. But my guess is you only have to hit it, you know, 3-4 times and this baby breaks loose. So whole lot easier than anything else I've seen. I hope if you give this a shot, it works well for you. And thanks for watching. I appreciate it. See you later.